Test. Yep. Hello? Test.
Testicles.
Testicles.
Well, that's an intro if ever I heard one. I like that big
like
guitar solo
Slash.
intro.
Look, I'm going to try this going live on TikTok.
Press the button, mate. What's up? Oh no, she broke it. It's not
Oh,
working.
dear.
It's too many things.
It's
mate.
too many things.
Yeah, you should really move it on this side.
We should move it on that side. Go on, move it.
What's happening over there? There you go. Look, isn't that better? You know.
Yeah, more room on that side. That's better. Wow. It's so much better. Now we can't see your beautiful face, mate.
That's right. My face is not that beautiful. No one wants to look at it. Anyway, welcome to Creative Talk. We are back again for another week of insanely crazy banter.
Yes.
Banter.
Banter. We're having a bit of banter. Hi to everyone on TikTok. We're bantering. This is our Creative Talk podcast, and we've got so many cameras going on, like paparazzi.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, isn't it?
It is a lot of stuff.
It's a lot when you try and do it properly. Remember when we used to have like the shittiest setup ever?
Yeah.
And we couldn't even do one thing? Actually, when I started this podcast 5 years ago, I only had a mobile phone.
And you can angle it more towards you.
Ah, fuck, I don't know what I'm
Just
doing.
do it.
To be
Just
honest,
do
I can't be fucked.
I don't know if my mic's on, eh?
It's on, mate. I can hear you.
Is it on?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
it's on.
Right. What are we talking about today?
Stuff. Today we're going to talk about Gen Zers because they've been in the news a lot lately. And I think Gen Z is an interesting topic to talk about. One, because I have children that are in the Gen Z bracket. Well,
You
one
do?
of them is.
No, both of them are, I think.
No, dear Angelo's too old.
He's not a millennial.
He's not?
No,
I thought he was
he's
on the
Gen
end
Z.
of it. Anyway, I've got kids. And these kids, they're Gen Zers. And these Gen Zers, useless.
Yeah, look, we just put it bluntly.
Not useless. I mean, they're good for like door stops or holding the door open. Like, there's a couple of things they're good for. Most of them, kind of lost.
Look,
Not really sure what's going to be happening for the next generations after we pass.
I don't know. What
Our
I'm worried.
parents were worried about that when we were growing up.
Maybe, but I'm extra worried because of these two things that we're going to cover today, which are very popular. Some Gen Zs are very useful.
Not
yes.
a Gen Zs. I'm very useful. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're very useful.
Some are
In
not.
fact, did you connect this to Bluetooth? I bet you didn't.
We didn't at all.
Awesome.
So,
anyone that's on TikTok, you won't be able to hear anything because Amber did nothing. So that's cool, eh? Yeah.
look,
So that's
it's
what
been a
happens
little
when you
while.
have a dinosaur trying to use technology from
Excuse me,
this era.
but how old are you? You're older than me. And
Yeah, but I know what I'm
that
doing.
person still heard us talking. So,
I don't think they did. I really don't.
it's on there. It'll be on there.
Oh, is it? Oh, you're an expert
Yes,
now.
because we have synced up to it another time.
Finally, she knows what she's doing. Carry on.
Yes, so the reason why we're talking about Gen Z today is there are two topics in mind
We're
which are
back.
actually really popular on TikTok right now.
Well, it's actually popular globally.
It's popular globally.
It's a global
Can you
trendy,
move it a little?
a trendy global.
It's a trendy global.
Yeah.
And the things are, one, everyone wants to be an influencer. Surprise, surprise. And the majority of people that do, they've just done a study here in Australia, and over 50% of girls, Gen Zs, would leave school and leave their job to become an influencer.
There it is. That's a topic. We're showing it on our podcast, which is streaming on Twitch and YouTube.
Yep.
I want to be an influencer when I grow up. That's the title. More than half of all Gen Z girls would quit their school or their job to become an influencer if they could. What they don't know is they already are. As long as you've got social, you're influencing someone. May not be a big audience, but hey, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Australia's top 100.
Yeah, that video's nothing. I've already watched it.
Yeah, we're not going to watch it.
Yeah, but see, the scary thing is, these girls would think that it's all glamorous and you can just take photos and, you know, share tips about what you ate that day and what you did, you know, the hair ties that you like and how to do your lipstick and, you know, like, and they think that's enough. And that's going to get them, that's going to sustain them for their whole lives. And bring in money.
But do you blame them? I don't, because
no, I'm not blaming them.
We grew up in an age where to be a superstar
internet.
Was impossible. To be a celebrity sports person, you had to be really, really fucking good at sports. To be a really good musician, which was kind of like, you know, there were three genres. There was either movies, television, which is the same kind of thing, sports, or music. That was it.
Yeah, but people...
And in order to do any one of those, you had to be really good at one of those three.
Exactly. And you honed your skills on that and you worked really, really hard in that particular thing that you wanted to, that you aspired to be, whether it's a musician, a sports person. Yeah, no, you don't. Now you can be mediocre at everything and still have people look at you and go, oh my God, that's so great. And that is where the problem lies.
I don't think it's a problem. I think it's being created by companies like us. We have glorified this whole thing of influencer industry, turned it into a $40 billion industry every single year. And that is why these kids are wanting to gravitate towards being an influencer. Because if you think about it, would you want to sit at a desk for 40 hours a week? Right? Like we did. 40 hours a week, we'd be there. Would you rather do that? Or would you rather make TikTok dance videos every day? Me, I'd rather do TikTok dance videos.
Yeah.
Like if it's going to pay, and it will pay, because the industry is doubling, so it will be $80 billion in the next 4 years.
Yeah, but it won't necessarily pay straight away, will it? You're going to have to work at it and work at it, work at it. Some people, I don't know, I reckon some people are influencers for a long, long time and they still don't get paid. We've worked with heaps of influencers over the years. And we've worked with heaps of influencers over the years. And some have had to stop what they're doing because it's not, they're not getting paid.
Yeah, I think, I mean, look, there's two parts to it. First of all, to become an influencer, it's a much more accessible, easier road to become one of those than it is to become a superstar musician, a artist or actor, a sports person that's really good at sport, because they take years and years and years in order for you to get really good, right? You don't need to do that if you've got a mobile phone. You could literally just make like videos on anything, whether it's you going to school or you waking up. Some of the biggest people in New Zealand who have 3 million, that Jamie girl that we followed, she just follows, like she just does herself waking up every day and going around her normal day.
Like, yeah, but how many years has she been going?
That's
a long time, right? Exactly. She didn't just make money straight away. Because
she made money after the first 12 months. Though.
Why? Yeah, but she's got a skill. She's actually quite. She's a good comedian.
Well, I think the skill gap is dropping, though. I don't think it's becoming. You have to be this amazing. It's dropping like expert. My mic. Touching it, mate. There goes nanotechnology. Yeah, it's always learning something new. Today it's the mic. It's got to take her about half an hour to work it out, though.
It's here. It's there.
Anyway, talking about Gen Zs and the latest story that has come out from the news in Australia is that everyone wants to be an influencer now. Kids no longer want to go to school, which is a problem. That's a big problem. They also don't want to go to work and work in a 40-hour work week. They would rather look at, and this is anywhere between the ages of 15 to 40. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
That's not just like, you know, young kids. This is like going all the way up to 40-year-olds who are already in the corporate world. Even they want to quit their job.
And become an influencer.
And become influencers.
I reckon it's
73% of females.
So
If that happens, nothing is going to get done.
Look at it this way.
Let me cheer over.
If these girls all left school, say 50% of the population
73
just left school. No, that's how many people they follow. So they left school now, and so their education is limited, right? Because they've left school and they've just learnt up to the age of 15 or whatever. What the hell are these people when they get older? What are they going to be teaching other people? Like, their level of knowledge of things in general, education, is going to be so limited.
But what are they
It's going to be just a society of dumb people.
What are they going to teach them right now? Because they don't have any education.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but they could still go on TikTok, do something else, like the latest trend, still make a massive audience and still make money.
I know, but...
and still know absolutely nothing.
So the thing is, what I'm saying is there needs to be a bit of a balance. I would say do your thing on social, be an influencer, but also... stay in school or go to uni.
Learn stuff, learn some
work
stuff.
in a job. You can maybe even work part-time and then do your influence stuff part-time, because there's things that you learn from working with other people. Influencers, if they're just staying in their bedroom or their home 24/7, not interacting with others, not learning social skills, not, I don't know. There's more to life than just making a TikTok video.
Is there though?
Well, for my generation, yes, but I mean, maybe for those young ones,
but
there isn't.
We're talking about Gen Z, and is there though? Because they grow up surrounded by technology from the day they're born. They're the first generation that's ever had a tablet or a device in their hand from the time they were born. You think about that. I used to, as a kid, sneak time to try and watch the television. Right? You used to try and sneak it
growing up,
to try and do it, and if you could watch it every day, you would.
In New Zealand, we only grew up with 2 TV channels, and then the third one.
So fast forward, right, Nana? You're now in today's age where kids are growing up with television sets in their hands at a very young age, and they're watching all these young people make millions of dollars. There was this girl.
Not heaps and heaps of those.
Yes, there is millions of them now. There are millions of them. There are
millions of influencers making millions of dollars.
Yes. They are now the highest paid people in the world.
If you guys know the stats on that, I think you should send it through. Because
there's a reason why these kids want to leave. And it's because it's easier, more accessible to become an influencer and create a social following than it is to become a sports celebrity or a movie star.
Or work in a normal job.
Or do a normal job.
But
it's true, right?
The thing is with that,
they don't want to do it.
Yeah, because they're lazy. Because
they still have to do something though. They're just not doing the norm, which is our norm, our old school norm, pre-technology, pre-social, pre-anything, right? That was the norm. But we're not living in that world anymore. There is no norm.
We've got one person here. They've decided to study sports and exercise science in university this year.
And
that's
Seppi,
awesome.
do you also have a social following on your page? We could probably check it out if we looked at your TikTok page. But would you also study as well as build a social profile in this day and age? We do. That's why we do this. We do this
so they don't have a
so
social
we
following.
Can create a thing. Would you want to be an influencer, or are you studying to be university to go into a sports industry and go into a sports job?
See, that type of education is going to get that person much further in life, because when they're 50, 60 and they're climbing up the ladder and how can you, if you just stay an influencer and you just creating TikTok videos or whatever for your, for the next 10, 20, however many years, you're restricting yourself from learning higher education if you're just going to stay in that.
I don't think you're restricting yourself. It's kind of like when people used to tell my mum playing video games would never get you anywhere. Now look at it. It is the biggest industry in the world. And I wish I had kept playing video games instead of going.
You are playing video games. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I'm too old now. Too old. Can't keep
slow,
up
mate.
with the youngins.
Too
but look,
slow.
I would say this. I would say that the influencer industry is going to take over the celebrity world and the brand world very soon. Next 5 years. that people who are building brands themselves, who are influencers, are going to be just as big as Nike. Like you look at Logan Paul and his ridiculous brother, they have amassed so much money that they are now like rivaling some of the biggest brands in the world, like Nike, like Adidas, like ASIC. Like they are actually making more money than they are, and it's just two dudes.
Yeah.
And there's more. There's this other female girl who has an OnlyFans who's grossing $1 million a month.
What is she grossing on OnlyFans, say?
Doesn't matter though. She's still making money. We're talking about making money using a different stream of medium now.
Yeah, that's fine. But those people probably put in the really long hours to do this.
She's 22 years old.
I reckon, like, we've worked with a lot of influencers.
22 making $1 million a month. Wow.
We've worked with a lot of influencers and gamers and things like that. And the key thing that they say is you've got to treat it like a job. You've got to put a minimum of 8 hours in, and most of them have put longer hours in. So what I think these kids are failing to realize is that it's not an easy road. You don't just do one video, spend half an hour making it, and that's that, and you're making $1 million. It's you're doing constant work on your social, on your followers, whatever it is that you're wanting to be. If it's a gamer, you are working on it. Like I Fall for Grace from Grace. She spends at minimum of 8 hours a day, and the other guys that we work with.
Oh, and some.
Yeah, so
14 hours.
It's not an easy. I think these girls and kids, people in general, are getting the wrong idea, thinking it's going to be just an easy thing, because it's easy to scroll through your phone and go, oh, look at that girl's, her day is so cool.
And Sappy says, I personally have seen so many social media influencers become snake oil salesmen. Isn't that true? Exactly. That is so true. Especially in the fitness industry, correct? And in the beauty industry as well, in models who are now pushing every makeup brand you could possibly imagine. And then it's also happening within the gaming space. It's happening within the technology review space. It's happening all over. And the reason it's happening is because people are making a lot of money. Well, they're making a living out of using social media as a way to create a business for themselves.
But
and
it's
that
fake.
Never used to exist.
Yeah, but
it's not fake. It's real.
No, but do you know that snake oil salesman is a negative thing? That's selling stuff to people that they don't actually need.
But
and there
are snake oil salesmen without social. There are brands that are like that, right? Like we did a review on a crystal brand that use social, and they were snake oil.
Yeah.
And they exist. It exists everywhere. It exists as an influencer. It exists in business. It's a real thing. Mm-hmm. But the discussion on why Gen Z want to actually do this is because it's easier for them to do this. I think it's more attractive. Like, it's more attractive to them rather than like my dad who sat in an office 40 hours a week, going an hour to work every day and an hour back home, sitting in traffic, complaining all the time. Like, they don't want that lifestyle. If they could make the same amount of money or close to as their parents by sitting at home in their bedroom, creating videos, I can guarantee you every kid would want to do it. Mm-hmm. Everyone, no matter what industry, they would want to do it. And it's changing because... And I reckon at some stage they're going to teach how to become an influencer in school.
Oh, I think they already are in some places.
But it's going to be terrible because it'll be 20 years like later, because the education system is so slow at keeping up with what's going on, that the kids that will go through that course will probably get a qualification that's no longer valid, very similar to those who go to school and come out now and try and get the work. It's not the same. It's too slow. It needs to change, and the influencer trend is not stopping. We've worked with far too many over a very long period of time, almost a generation of 20 years, and we've seen it go from just a small thing into a global, massive billion-dollar industry. Mm-hmm. I don't see it stopping.
No, I don't see it stopping either, but I think people just need to... look at it in a more, like they need to do their research.
I actually think, here's what I think. I think influencers should start telling people what the real is.
Yeah.
That's the first part.
Yeah.
The second part is I also think agencies, and you know who I'm talking about, agencies who manage talent should be telling them the real story as well.
Yeah.
And not building up their hopes that they're going to get paid all this money just by signing on to an agency, because it's not true. Yep. It's very much like a casting agency who used to cast models, who we used to work with and still do, And you would sit on their books for ages and never get any jobs. That's the same thing within the influencer industry. And then there's advertising industry agencies where they also need to talk about it. I just don't think anyone's talking about it. They're not talking about the fact that this big movement is happening because for so long, everyone thought that the audiences of social media influencers was rubbish. No one, like, they always thought advertising is the number one, selling your product online is number two, and building your own social media community is number three. No one paid any attention to these social media influencers, did they?
No.
No one wanted to spend any money. We know because our clients never wanted to do that. But now it's shifting to where influencers are starting to take over more money than advertising or content, which is very, very different. And that means that there's a lot more attention that's going to go towards these influencers, and the industry is going to continue to grow. And it means more of these younger generations are going to be bombarded with content that will make them want to be one.
What I would suggest is, because a lot of the people that we know were good at something first and then became influencers.
Yes.
So it's like, I feel like these kids today need to find a skill, work on on something, become good at that, and then you can influence people, not just be like, oh, I'm just going to start making a video of
Do you know that those people are now called a different type of influencer? They're called creators, whereas influencers are just people who do entertainment, which could be anything. Then you've got your content creators who are influencers, but they do exactly that. They specialize in filmmaking, or they specialize in law, or they specialize in whatever, and they give their expertise on social.
Those are the type of influencers that I follow and recognize. People who are already good at something and they've been doing well in that field and they've decided to share their tips.
But what's the difference?
Because they actually have an authority of and know what they're talking about, and then they have a knowledge of it. It's like me.
But does that mean
like
they're more valuable?
Yep, to me they are.
Why?
Because why would I listen to? Okay, so say for example.
Well, one's first of all, they're not the same. One is entertainment, which could be someone who makes you laugh, someone who does dumb shit, someone who does comedy. You know, that's an entertainment.
Yeah, but somebody
influencer.
who does comedy is usually
who's
honed their skill and been doing comedy for a while. Yeah.
No, you've got like the random girl that read you the story. She's not a comedian. She's just a mother.
Being a mother, she's probably read 1 million storybooks about. Well, see, I don't follow her. You know, I feel like.
Yeah, but she's not a professional comedian yet. She made you laugh, didn't she?
She did.
Yep, and she's a mother of one child, and that's basically like her claim to fame is that she's a solo mum, which there's a lot of solo mums out there. But there's also a lot of solo mums that make people laugh, and they're not sharing their story or creating a following. And she has 2 million on TikTok now because she makes people laugh. So she would be the entertainment segment. She's not teaching people how to be a solo mum. Then you have people who teach law, or they do like industry insights, or they're a beat maker, or they're a rapper, and they're giving their insight. There's two very, very different skill sets with regards to being an entertainment type influencer and then being like a content creator specializing in a specific area and sharing your knowledge influencer. And I think that influencer pool, because before it was just everyone is just one influencer. I think it's going to keep growing. Like you're going to start having... what do you call it? You're going to start having all these micro genres within a genre.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you already have the micros, macros. I don't know. There's how many tiers are there?
Yeah, like
so many.
Yeah, that's judged on your level of audience. It's not judged on what you know. I'm talking about genres that are judged on, which is what you judge on, your specific skill level of what you know and whether you're an expert or not. And if you're not an expert, there'll be there'll be a genre on just how to do shit, right? Or there'll be a genre on just reviewing shit, or there'll be a genre on a guy that just falls over all the time, or a guy like we were watching the other day who just raves on top of a mountain. Like there'll be these genres within a genre that never used to exist before because of influencers. And the more genres there are, the more Gen Zs will want to be one because they could create their own genre and they could become really famous. And the platform exists for them to be famous, and they don't have to go to school. They don't have to be an expert. They don't have to do nothing but post content. That's the scary part. It's just content.
Yeah. I think it's short-lived.
You do?
I do, because that for those people who are just going to be posting content, say the guy who's just going on a mountain and dancing, that's cool for now, actually. And it's entertaining now. But when he turns 50, is he still going to be doing that? And are people going to find it interesting? It's like, what's his name? One big influencer in New Zealand, Logan Dodds, he became famous for the guy that went on that holiday around
he's still
Europe.
Famous.
Yeah, but wait. And he did the thing where he put his hand on the camera or his phone and then took it off, and he was in a new place. That action of that only lasted however long. It was only popular for 2 years, and then heaps of other
He's
people.
still famous.
He's famous, yes, but he's not doing that particular thing anymore, right?
But it doesn't matter. He's still famous.
He also has a trade.
Doesn't matter.
He's a qualified builder, which he does.
Doesn't matter.
He uses the influence that he got from that video and the following that he got from that to build on and do other things. So he's no longer just, what I'm saying, it's short-lived. That one particular thing he did is short-lived, but then he used his brain and made sure that he's upskilled and learnt different things, videography. He's a qualified builder. He goes around and does talks to people in schools.
He does heaps of stuff, though. He still partners with brands. He still
partners
gets supported.
with brands.
He still gets paid.
Yeah, exactly.
He works with Samsung. He does content.
But he is not just doing a one-trick pony. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not just relying on that thing of, I'm just going to keep doing videos where I put my hand on the camera, because that you can't keep. After a while, that gets boring, right? So he's realized that, and he's diversified into other areas and created content in different ways and expanded his horizons onto different things.
Here's a question for you, Nana. At what point does a person no longer have to do that? Is it when they make a shit ton of money, or is it when they actually build a big enough social audience that it doesn't matter?
The same thing, or diversify?
Like, at what point do they become from being just like Logan Dodds, who is, like working as a tradie, to then becoming a global sensation? At what point does it change? What happens? Because then to be honest, for me, it's when they get a certain audience size. Once they get a certain audience size, they could do whatever the hell they wanted. Whether it's touching the camera, whether it's taking photos of themselves on the beach, whether it's driving a new car. At a certain point, an influencer's audience is what people want. And at a certain point, there's a less of a barrier to entry, because you go, oh, that guy's got 5 million, right? You know you're going to have to pay for it. But he could do anything by then.
Yeah.
So at some point, these influencers who might start off doing really dumb shit will amass an audience following that will basically put them into the space of like a celebrity. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And when that happens, it doesn't matter what they do content-wise. What are you doing, Nana?
Just holding my mic before it falls down. It doesn't like this angle. Yeah. I think it's both. That's fine. Leave it. I think it's valid both ways. Falling. But I would say I prefer and I see more longevity for those people who are influencers who can do more than one thing, or upskill, or are not just one-trick ponies, because after a certain amount of years, people are going to get bored with that thing. And you see that on TikTok, because people are just swiping and not paying attention, and are just, it's a fleeting moment.
How many jobs have you had, though? How many different jobs? I've had heaps. How many have you had?
I've had heaps.
So what's to say that being an influencer isn't just one of those jobs now? Like, you know, when you start at KFC and you do that real shitty job, you
Yeah.
find out it's dumb.
Yeah.
And then you eat as much chicken as you can, you become real, like, overweight or whatever. And then you get sick of it and you move on to a new job, which
Yeah.
could be an office job. So what's to say that being an influencer couldn't be that very first shitty job that you get, which then makes you realize, oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
be
And that's the
go to
thing. That's why
university.
these girls shouldn't be leaving school to pretend to go and be influencers when I don't think they're really fully thinking about it properly. Because then it's going to set them up. They'll be like, oh, after a few years, oh, shit, I'm not making money. And now what am I going to do? I've got no education. That's all. I just feel like...
What's all?
Think about it.
Stay
Ben.
in school,
Think
kids. I
Yeah,
don't think so.
or-
I would say leave school. Go do what you want. School sucks. That's my words. I learned nothing at school.
You learned how to read and write. Didn't you?
I don't know. In different languages, in different countries, yeah.
Yeah, but you learned how to read and write in English properly. That school taught you that. That you didn't learn that at home. You didn't learn reading and writing at home, did you? School has its place.
Still don't need it if I have a TikTok account. I can just say whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, but how will you know what to put on your posts and to...
You know, you can just talk in abbreviated language.
I know that, but
and
then
you
how
don't
will you
even have to
understand
communicate with words anymore.
instructions?
And that there's AI technology that can write your post for you.
Yeah, but if
Like,
you're going
people are
online,
becoming
you need
dumber
to
and
like
dumber.
be able to search something like a website. You need to be able to
Oh,
read.
I don't know what content you're doing. If I was 14, you know what content I'd be doing? I'm going to the creek. I'm going to jump in and have a swim. That'd be it. That'd be the content. So, there's not a lot of thinking going on there if you're 14. And then it'd be like things like going to the park, hanging out with your mates, doing a dance on a table, like getting drunk.
I think
Well, that kind of stuff.
yeah, which people don't. Whatever.
I
You know,
think it's-
people
I
just
think
don't
it's
want
a
to
lot
watch that
easier.
stuff.
I think it's easier to be an influencer these days than ever before. I think the drive for the young generation to actually be an influencer has never been as crazy strong as what it is.
Yeah, because everyone's on TikTok. That's the thing.
Not everyone.
I mean, everyone in the younger generation, not everyone, but the majority of people are on TikTok or some
Majority of
kind
young.
of social media platform.
Well, you can't not be now.
Exactly.
It's kind of like having an email address. But not everyone's on Facebook. Ooh, they're declining.
No.
Jesus.
We know that.
It's becoming the platform for old people.
It's for nanas.
Yeah.
It's nanas.
Yep.
So, okay, well, we don't have an agreement on what you should do if you want to be. Should these girls
I reckon you should
leave
do it.
school?
Yeah. I say yes.
Secretly, you said to me before you hate this whole influencer
No,
thing.
I do. I think the whole influencer industry needs to take a good look at itself, and I think it needs to be regulated, and I do think there needs to be a lot more education given to the young people in schools, the ones in schools especially, to show like there is a real difference between being an influencer, living the high life, taking photos of yourself looking famous, and actually making money. Like, it's not about looking cool, it's about making money. And if you can build a social audience that will actually help you make money, then I say go do it.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
know
care
that
what it
it's
is.
going to be the hard. It's
Yeah.
And
And
the
the reason I say go do it is because we know from working with thousands and thousands of influencers that it is probably one of the most difficult things that you will ever try to do.
It's hard work.
Much harder than building a business.
Yeah.
Much harder than going to work to do the same
9
job
to 5.
every single day.
Yeah.
And you'll realize that only if you go and do it. So I say go do it, because then you'll
Try it.
realize how bloody hard it is.
yeah,
And then you'll probably go back to KFC.
and then you'll be like, maybe I should just go get a job that I can just turn up
Maybe I'll go to university.
9 a.m.
Maybe I'll go get
have
an education.
everything sorted for me.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's good to let the young kids go and follow their ideas around what they believe it is going to be, because I think that'll teach them a valuable lesson too.
Yeah. And then they might go, oh, I should learn a skill. And then
Actually,
maybe I'll come
I
back
don't know
to
what I'm
doing
talking
this.
about. Yeah. You
I don't know. How am I going to influence people?
Well, I
I
don't-
don't know anything.
I don't agree that isn't going to stop. I don't see
Oh,
influencing stopping. I see it growing, and I see it becoming massive. Like, you know, that girl Margaret Zhang, who's in fashion, has just become the editor of Vogue. Like...
Vogue Worldwide or
yes,
Australia?
like Vogue Worldwide.
Wow. But she's
the girl of Vogue, and she was just taking photos of herself on Instagram. Like,
but
she did go do a course.
Did she do that?
She did a course.
Long time.
Yeah, but dude, Vogue.
10 years.
How many people who have sat like on magazines and she's never run a magazine before.
But she's run her blog. She's run her
still hasn't run a bloody massive thing. Yeah, but that just goes to show, right? That just goes to show that if you do build a massive audience and you create a trend, and she became a trend, so much so that she started selling her own clothing, which went massive. She's now been picked up by the biggest fashion icon magazine in history in the world as a full-time job.
That's cool.
That is cool. That's what can happen. But she also was qualified. So, she went to university, got a study, got a degree, then created a blog, then also worked at it for 5 years to then create the content, which then made her...
Yeah. So she didn't just leave school at 15 and then become the editor of Vogue.
But it's a great success story, I think.
Yeah.
One of the many, actually. And I know heaps who have turned themselves into these influencers. Another one we work with in gaming, Nadeshot. He was just a 15-year-old kid playing video games who became professional and now has amassed a fortune by owning all these different teams who play all these different games and had investment from people like Drake. Like, that's not an easy thing to do when you're 15 years old. But again, a professional with a lot of substance, a lot of experience.
Wasn't he a professional gamer first? Was he?
Yeah, was.
So he worked very hard in gaming, right?
Yeah.
He got to a level in gaming where he was at the top. So then he became an influencer and then got other influencers on board.
Yeah, he was influencing before there was this term influencer.
Yeah, so he was good at something
gaming
first. Yeah, exactly. So I think we're on the same page there.
I don't think so.
No, I think we are. No, because you're saying, yes, just go do it. These young people just take the leap and do it, and then you'll see how difficult it is, right? I agree.
Yeah.
But I would, then they'll see exactly how difficult it is, and then they'll some will succeed.
Look,
but then some might.
Quote. This one here from 14-year-old Mia said, influencers felt like friends because their posts were relatable, fun and honest.
No, they're not your friends.
She follows about 50 influencers. She bought their clothes, makeup, hair care products, tried out recipes, and after seeing them on social, she decided she'd like to be one.
Look, we've worked with a lot of influencers and a lot of brands, and I want to tell you now that not all of them are honest.
When they say they get paid to say something,
yeah, they do.
They get paid to say something.
See, that their paid partnership. That lady's doing a thing on tan removing glove.
Use my code.
Right.
Yep, she's been paid.
So she's been paid to do that.
An agency like us would have actually told her what to say, got that approved by that client, then made sure that what she posted was a real photo of herself doing it, whatever she's doing, and then approved it for it to go out. So this is, whether you like it or not, an actual advert.
Yeah.
That an agency like us created to put out there to make Mia, who's 14,
buy that product. So,
yeah,
sorry,
the wheels
Mia.
keep on turning. It doesn't
Mia,
change.
she's not your friend. She's just creating content to get paid.
You don't know that. Mia might know her.
Yeah, but look at that. Mia said influencers felt like friends because their posts were relatable, fun and honest.
Authentics, the word, Mia. Yep.
Look, the categories, she doesn't like influencers. She just wants her dinner. But
well,
yeah.
Who cares? I like people who make funny videos. See, what was I just talking about before? People don't actually want serious people on social. They want to be entertained. And social is about being entertained. And you can entertain anyone at a very young age. I remember when my mum used to make me get up and bloody sing when I was from like 5 to 6 years old. We had to do that at maraes, at family gatherings, at birthdays. I had to sing all the time.
Do you want to get up and sing now?
No, I don't. No.
What song do you want to
Me
sing?
and music have kind
you
of parted ways.
You should sing the Aunties Regulate.
We're doing parting ways.
Regulator.
Oh, you need to follow her. She's funny. She's entertaining.
Her name is Pear Hea.
Follow her on TikTok if you want some real R&B.
Look, Māori auntie style.
Some really auntie style.
P-E-H-I-A.
It's the best. Shall we bring her up? I actually think we should bring her up.
Look, we can. She has a skill in something else. And P-E-H-I-A. H-I-A. But then she was already good at singing.
Turn it up, bub.
Now she is.
If you haven't heard Pia,
Turn it up, Bubba.
this is her.
Can you put her on the
If
screen?
you know
so
what
everyone
I
can see?
know, you don't want to step to this. It's the
This is Amber's favourite song.
Funked out with the gangster twist.
She's singing Regulate.
If you smoke like I smoke,
Warren G.
then you'll
styles.
high like every day. And if your ass is a bastard to and through regulate.
Follow Pia.
Pair here.
Follow
Pair
her.
here. You need to put her
Oh,
on the
the whistle.
screen, mate.
The whistle is the one. The whistle is the one.
Yes.
Turn it up, Bubba.
Turn it up, Bubba.
If you know like I know.
See,
you
look, she is a perfect example of someone that just makes you laugh. And whether they have a skill in education or not, she's actually amassing a really big following.
Yeah, I know,
She's
but
now got
she's
13,000 followers. You know how many she had last week when I looked? 2,000. She's grown 10,000 because
But
of
she
Regulate.
was obviously doing another job before this, and she's a good singer.
Doesn't matter.
So
It doesn't matter.
Turn it up, Bubba.
just turn it up, Bubba.
Doesn't matter. She's entertaining.
Play it.
people. Everyone wants to.
Like we don't want to listen to you. Play it, play it.
No,
Oh,
we've
she's
already heard
gone.
enough. We've heard enough of her. If you want to check it out, Pia here. You can follow her on TikTok. She's bloody funny. We love supporting her.
She's an auntie from New Zealand.
She reminds me of aunties. She reminds me of all my aunties singing those songs. Anyway, influencers, Gen Z. If you want to be an influencer, I would say go do it. Go and do it. Knock yourself out. See how hard it is.
And then you might
Get
end
a
up back
reality
at
check.
KFC.
Then end up go working at KFC.
Oh, is that done? I think we're done for the day. I think we'll talk about that other topic another day. Or what do you think?
Oh, okay.
What do you think? Oh, we can talk about that one if you like.
No, I'm cool.
We've done quite a few.
Let's just exit out with Pia.
Yes,
then.
please.
Righty ho. Nana's had enough for today.
I have.
It's not often that you're actually lost
Turn
for
it
work.
up, Bubba.
I'm not. I just want my.
No, we're just gonna.
If you know like I know, you don't want to step to this. It's the G-Funk era, funked out with the gangster twist. If you smoke like I smoke,
Kia ora, Shannon.
then
We're
you'll
good, thank
high
you.
like
Thanks for
every
stopping in on
day.
TikTok.
And if your ass is a bastard to and through regulate.
I don't know, but if you like Regulate, old Warren G, Nate Dogg
look.
styles, you cannot pass up that song. It's genuine.
I love that song,
It's genuine. I love
and I love the whistle. Her whistle
yeah.
game's on point. You know.
it. Still games on
Yeah.
point.
That's-
Anyway, that's us for another week of Creative Talk, talking about Gen Z's influences and all that good stuff. Amber and I definitely don't agree, but I think they should go do it because they'll find out. how hard
No,
it
we
is.
do agree. Yours
Oh, you
is a
do?
bit more of a harder
You
approach.
say go to school. I say go be an influencer.
Yeah, but you only say that because you want them to realize how hard
They're
it
going to
is.
fail.
Exactly. You want them to fail. I
No,
want
no.
them to succeed.
I don't want them to fail. I'm just saying you're
They
going to
will fail. Yeah. I want them to succeed. So I'm like,
You fail.
stay at school and do your influencer stuff on the
Nah,
side.
go do it.
You're like, go all in,
Go
quit
and do it.
school,
Go,
go in
quit school.
and realize you're not making any money, and then you're stuffed and you
Yeah.
have to go work on the streets.
Go work at KFC. Yeah,
And that's us.
that's us. Have you had a good day? We'll see you back again here soon. Kakite.
Ka kite.
We should exit with Regulate.
Oh, we should play
I
it.
don't have a Regulate.
Oh, put it on her auntie again.